People issue is a real challenge for utilities today. There was a long history of growth in our asset-based utility industry back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and that resulted in a real wave of talent that was acquired and added to utilities, both from a numbers perspective as well as from a skill set perspective. The challenge now is that those workers are close to retirement. In fact, in some of our clients, we hear that more than 40% of their staff, many of the key roles that allow them to reliably deliver service on a daily and a weekly basis, are eligible to retire in the next 5 years. So that baby boomer cohort, although it's a challenge generically in our economy, it's a significant challenge for utilities. The second aspect that utilities are challenged with is around skill sets and their ability to keep up with the new technologies that are emerging. So many of our traditional utility employees grew up with a certain set of capabilities, understanding, and certain types of field work. Increasingly, technology is pervasive throughout a utilities organization, not just in the back office, but in the field. And we're finding that the new generation of technology is at times a challenge for for traditional utility staff to embrace and use effectively. It's certainly an economic issue across Canada, especially in the traditional capital-intensive industries, but it's a global issue. So one of the challenges that one of the sources of supply that sometimes is tapped into is to bring foreign workers from other parts of the world to Canada to actually support a local industry. The mining industry has a bit of a history with that. Oil and gas is using that. The challenge in the utility industry is that, in fact, it's a global phenomenon. The capital build-out and the rate of technology change has been so significant around the world that those traditional sources of talent that you can bring staff or people from overseas are in fact not able to meet the needs. From a people perspective, we're hearing two things. One is that our clients are proactively engaging with trade schools with new sources of supply. They're actually involved all the way down to the high school level in some cases, trying to attract, train up, and then ideally retain the trades and the engineering and technical skills that they need to be successful. The second thing that we're finding they're doing is they're outsourcing a lot of their capital work as well as their more traditional business as usual work. If they can't find the skills internally, they're developing new relationships with third-party contracting firms, engineering firms, EPCs, and instead of trying to do the work themselves, they're outsourcing the work to third parties. Not because it's necessarily less expensive, but because they don't have the skills or the capacity to do it internally.